My neighbours have been drilling for the past hour and now their kid is screaming, so... Hi guys! Starting videos is always so awkward, but then I get into the swing of things and it's all fine. Okay, firstly, before we get into this week's video, I wanted to say a quick hello because there are a lot of new faces around here. I don't know where these people are coming from, I don't know why they're staying, but they're very welcome. So if you're new, hi, thank you so much for subscribing and for watching the videos, and it is just so nice to see that other people are also enjoying these videos. And also, people who aren't my family or my friends have been commenting on my videos, which again is so lovely to see and it's just made me really happy. So if you feel like commenting, it genuinely makes my day. So please don't hesitate, even if it's just to say hi. It's really, really lovely. Quick update from my last video. I was saying how I really wanted a pumpkin mug or just like something autumny and Halloweeny. Meet Fred enters Fox mug. This is so cute and it has brought me endless joy. There we go, and he will be joining us. Anyway, hi, if you're new, my name is Luca and I do a bit of everything on this channel, but today we're going to be talking about some thriller recommendations. I did my Halloween book, like spooky Halloween book recommendation video. Can't bloody talk, can I? It went well, I think, so that's great. And I wanted to stay in the sort of spooky Halloween vibe because it is still October, although you still can't bloody tell because south of France just isn't cooperating. Is it the same for anyone else? Because I swear it is still 24 degrees out, people are still walking around in t-shirts, it's still overbearingly hot and green, and it's can't breathe. Is this the same for anyone else, or is it just us? It's really dampening my spirits. But anyway, I wanted to keep it in the Halloween sort of theme, so I thought it would be great to recommend some thrillers. So that is what I'm gonna do today. I have quite a little list to go through. I might not get through all of them because, as we know, I always run out of battery and then have to very abruptly end the video. So we'll see if I get through them. It is quite an ambitious list, but I got excited. I was sort of thinking like, I can't actually think of any thrillers to recommend, and then I was looking through my Goodreads and realised that there are a few that I could talk about. In fairness, some of them probably don't classify as thrillers. I might be cheating a little bit. Some of them are like more cozy murder mystery. Some of them have a mystery. Yeah, I might be cheating a little bit, but we're gonna allow it because it's my video and I can do what I want. Okay, so the first one is probably my all-time favourite thriller. String a sentence together, woman. Jesus. It's my all-time most favourite thriller. It's The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. I've read this twice now. I've even bought it as a gift for Jack's dad. I don't know if he enjoyed it, he never told me. I really loved it. What's it about, you ask? Well, it's about two main characters. You're following Lily and, I want to say Thomas, but it's not, it's Ted, who meet at an airport. They're about to get the same flight, and things evolve. They have a little chat, and they end up agreeing on murdering Ted's wife. This is heavily inspired by Strangers on a Train by Patricia Highsmith, which I have read the book and I've also seen the film adaptation by Alfred Hitchcock. But we've got the same sort of thing going on where two strangers meet and they agree for the stranger to murder someone for the other person. It's like a deal that they make. They plan out his wife's murder. I'm not gonna say any more than that because it would be revealing too much. I loved it the first time reading it. I really thought it was going in one direction and then it just... and I didn't see it coming, and then it did it again. It was just very twisty. I loved Lily's character. I really liked any of the chapters that had her in it, and I kind of just wanted to read about her. She really was the moment. She was iconic, and I adored her. So I thought that was really, really good. If you're interested in reading a thriller, I think it takes place during September as well, so it definitely has those sort of cold, chilly, atmospheric vibes. It's on, a lot of it takes place on like the sea front, so there's like windy what am I trying to say here? Basically you just get the right feelings for this time of year, as well as a lot of twists, and yeah, there were just a lot of unexpected turns, and I was really surprised by it because I have read a lot of thrillers at this point and I didn't think that it was really going to catch me out like that, but it did. Boom! We did a great job on that one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this one is kind of a little bit of a sneak peek into my October wrap up. I will be talking about this book, but I just finished reading not that long ago Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. I always thought it was Gillian, but it's not, it's Gillian. This is a very recent release, and I saw it being promoted, gave it a go, listened to the audiobook, and it is a 5 out of 5 stars book for me. I loved it. I was not expecting it at all either. I thought it was just going to be, because I haven't, as I've said this before, but I haven't been very lucky this year with my reads. I feel like it's just not been great, and especially with thrillers. I haven't found a lot of thrillers that I've really enjoyed. But this one, I can't recommend it to you enough. So, what's it about? It is about our main character. I can't remember what her name is. We're gonna call her Jen, because I can't be bothered to find my phone and look it up. Okay, picture this. It's October. Jen is in her family home. She's just finished carving her pumpkin, and she is doing that thing that mums do where they care about their children, and she's waiting for her son Todd to get home. It's almost midnight and she's just looking out the window, sort of anxiously waiting for him. You know how mothers can't really rest until they know that their children are home. And eventually she finally does see her son walking home, but then she witnesses her son, focus for this because it's important, she witnesses her son commit a murder right in front of her. And this is very strange because her child has always been one of those like really good kids. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know who this person is, and she has no clue why her son would murder someone. He's taken to jail by the police people, and Jen, after a really rough night, goes to sleep. Next day, she wakes up and Todd is home. Todd is in his room. And everything's normal. And she's like, what the hell is going on? Did I just dream all of that? But no, turns out that whenever Jen goes to sleep, I don't know why I'm telling you this story this way. Whenever Jen goes to sleep, she goes back in time. It can be a day, it can be a week. That's all you need to know. She goes back in time. It sort of allows for her to see all of the events and actions and decisions that led to her son committing a murder. It very much explores sort of the butterfly effect, and she unravels this mystery by going back in time, and she finds out loads of clues and just finds out a lot of secrets. It was brilliant. It was so good. I loved the writing. I loved how atmospheric it was, and yeah, the fact that she can go back in time and that that's how the mystery is sort of unraveled, that's what makes this so unique and what makes it so compelling to read. It was riveting and I loved it. The minute I could, I would put my headphones on and listen to it, and I went through it so quickly, and it was just so good, and I even felt a little bit emotional at the end. I was supposed to not say too much about it because, as I say, I'm going to be talking about it in my October wrap up, but I went into a lot of detail there, so oh well, I guess you now know. I thought I would talk about Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. Moment of silence for this cover. yeah, I thought I would talk about this one. Again, this is a 5 out of 5 stars. I wouldn't say that it is a thriller in the sense that it is going to keep you up at night and that it's going to have you on the edge of your seat and that you're going to feel the adrenaline pumping through your veins. I kept seeing this being sort of promoted everywhere, and I kept reading the blurb, and every time I read the blurb I sort of came away with something different. What eventually convinced me to read it is that it's a courtroom thriller, and I don't know why, but that always really works for me. I have the memory of a goldfish, and so I have to look back on my Goodreads reviews to remind me what it is that I want to say about this book. So do excuse me, I'm not being rude, I swear. Wherever this book lands, it is bound to leave a bruise. You know what I mean? So the trial and the mystery are just the foundation for this book. Angie Kim then builds up on this foundation, and it is about so much more. When I finished reading this book, I felt like my heart had been wrenched out and just battered around like a tennis ball. So if that's the feeling you want, pick it up. The characterization is so impeccable. It's sort of impossible to go into depth and like into all of the things that make this book so brilliant. There's like a staggering number of elements to this story that the author has to juggle. She paces her narrative like a pro. There are a lot of plot twists in it. And like despite her juggling so many things, it doesn't feel cluttered. It just speeds by. I really don't want to say much about it. Just know that it's a courtroom thriller, and if that is something that you like, then you might enjoy this as well. It's a courtroom thriller, but it's also a poignant character study. It also touches on subjects such as immigration, motherhood, disability, and also like the fetishization of Asian women. And it also goes a lot into family and where you're from and all of these kind of things. It's just an incredible book. Yeah, I'm not gonna say more about it. You're just gonna have to trust me and give it a go. But yeah, that was that one. I'm gonna leave it there. Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. Okay. Next one that I wanted to talk about, I'm gonna leave a little space for her over here. It is An Elderly Woman by Helen Thurston. This is a collection of short stories about an elderly lady called Maud. So Maud very cleverly and tactfully uses other people's stereotypical thinking and their quick assumptions to her advantage. She convinces them into believing that she's just this frail old little lady who's going slightly deaf and who can't see very well, when in actual fact, Maud, little Maud, is a serial killer. Yeah, you kind of just root for Maud despite her really dark intentions, and I love how she's just kind of, she's such a little like solitary creature, and I can relate to that. Yeah, all she wants is just a little bit of peace and quiet, you know? And she is like the ultimate girl boss. She lives on her own, she takes care of herself, she goes traveling by herself. Maybe she should consider murdering a little bit less, but if not, she's great. And this is just a really fun book. It's very short. It's great if you just like, you know, something that's simultaneously dark but also humorous with plenty of cunning. And I really loved it, so you should definitely go check that one out. Next one I wanted to talk about was Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty, which is a psychological thriller that actually got a lot of attention when it came out, and I know that a lot of people really liked it and it was talked about a lot. A lot of people were reading it and really enjoying it, and I know that it was then turned into a TV show, so it has gotten quite a lot of recognition. But if anyone hasn't picked it up yet, or they need a little reminder of how good this book was, here you are. Here you go. I do it willingly because when I finished reading this book, I needed someone to give me a hand because I was floored. I gave this book 4.75 stars. I'm being a little bit picky. Also, I really wasn't expecting it because again, I sort of just picked it up out of curiosity because so many people were talking about it. I managed to get it on my Kindle, read it, and it was brilliant. It was hilarious, it was so well written, and it was just compulsive. I couldn't put it down. The structure, the plot, and the purpose of each character is so brilliantly assembled, and the twist is so intensely satisfying. I feel like for some people you might see what the twist is, but for me, I didn't, and I audibly gasped and gaped out the window for like a solid 5 minutes trying to process what had just happened, trying to process all of the emotions that I had. And it's kind of one of those books, and when you finish reading it, you really wish that you could just wipe your memory and go ahead and reread it all over again, because it was so brilliantly, and I couldn't process how all of the like characters and storylines came together so satisfyingly. Only reason I'm seeing now, I've been reminded why it wasn't a full 5 stars. The reason why it wasn't a full 5 stars is that although it does deal with difficult topics such as, and I will say trigger warning, it does deal with sexual assault and domestic violence, which not at all an easy topic, but it was a little bit fluffy and shallow and very white. Like, it was very white. The narrative is dominated by sort of the pressures and pettiness of middle class / upper class white people, especially women, and sort of the like mummy lives, if you know what I mean, you know, like the social lives of white mummies who are rich. It is also a lot of drama about first world superficial problems. It was still an incredible book, and I still recommend that you go read it. Okay, moving on to something a little bit different. The next book is Finley Donovan is Killing It. Okay, so this one is a sort of very over-the-top, dramatic, comedic little murder mystery following a recently divorced mother who is just trying to survive. She just wants to take care of her daughter, yes, and she's trying to pay the bills, and she's just trying to get by. But then she accidentally commits a murder, and everything sort of goes downhill from there. Finley accidentally murders this man. I can't remember how it happened. Instead of coming clean and going to the police, she decides to cover it up and hide the body. And she does this with the help of her babysitter, who, by the way, her babysitter is iconic. And they make this great little duo. When I was reading it, it was summer 2022, and all I wanted was something that was 100% entertainment, that was fun, and that was just going to be pure escapism, and that is definitely what this did for me. It is 0% believable but 80% fun. Angela Dorr did an incredible job of narrating the book, by the way, the audiobook, so I would 1000% recommend that you go and check that out. Overall, it was very compelling and chucklesome, and I will probably continue with the series because there are other few books that have come out. But yeah, if you want something that is just lighthearted, that's fun, and that has a cozy murder with an incredible duo, honestly, a mum and a babysitter committing murders, we're doing well, touch wood. Okay, be warned, the next one I'm going to talk about is a great book, but it broke my heart. It made me want to curl into a little ball and cry tears of furious despair. The events that take place are entirely fictional, but unfortunately they represent things that happen in real life, and it was incredibly heartbreaking, and it was a very difficult read. Huge trigger warning, it is about sexual assault. If I haven't lost you yet, the book that I'm going to be talking about is The Night Swim by Megan Golden. I listened to the audiobook for this, which I think is really perfect. The main character has this podcast. I think she covers sort of trials that are going on. She will have a whole podcast about trials that are taking place. And she ends up accepting to, or deciding to, go and have her newest podcast be about this sexual assault trial that is going on in her hometown. It works really well as an audiobook, first of all, because you get to listen to the chapters of the podcast as if it were an actual podcast, if that makes sense. I don't think I'm explaining myself very well, but I'm sure that you know what I mean. It is heavy, it's dark, and it's emotional. But I think it succeeds at being an unsettling and gripping psychological thriller. But its underlying purpose is also to sort of show how victims are treated, and I think that it's got a very important message, and I think that it is done really, really tastefully. Megan Goldin's writing is extremely captivating and elicited such a strong reaction on my behalf, which I think is incredible if a writer can do that. And it just kept me hooked from the beginning to the end, with very clever sort of use of dual POVs and the recurring podcast format. It just worked so well for me. As I say, I listened to it as an audiobook, so I think it was perfect. Jenny's character broke my heart. She shattered me. I just wish that I could protect Jenny at all costs. I know that I've not really sold that one to you because, as I say, it's dark and it's a difficult read, but it's one that's definitely worth it. I think you just need to go into it prepared, and as I say, the writing is incredible and the story is very compelling, and there were like moments that were a little bit alleviated. It wasn't just constantly pain and suffering. So yeah, if that sounds like something you want to put yourself through, I would highly recommend. But genuinely is a very good sort of murder mystery. Murder mystery? It's not a murder mystery. Mystery. I'm sure that my mum is watching this thinking, why on earth would anyone want to read that? And I get it, mum. I understand. But some people do. And I promise it's a really good book. I promise. Yeah, if you want something a little bit more lighthearted and cozy, then probably you should just stick with Finley. Donovan is killing it. Alright, I don't think I have that many books left to talk about. I did want to mention this one. When you think of thriller, you probably envision this style of book, so I wanted to include it, even though it wasn't my favourite. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, and that is The Whisper Man. The Whisper Man. I don't know why I said it like that, but it's The Whisper Man by Alex North. Listen. It was freaking creepy. I remember I was reading this, and a huge element of it is that there's this unknown individual who talks to this child at night when he's in bed. I know, mum, I know, it's creepy. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know, okay? I'm seeing a therapist, it's fine. And that, of course, is extremely creepy and disturbing. And I was reading this. It was nighttime. I was sitting on our sofa over here. I got up, I think I was tidying, getting ready for bed, and Jack, the little was hiding here. So this is our window with our balcony. His face was pressed up against it, and I screamed so loud that he could hear me through these windows, and these are triple soundproof. I have nightmares about it. It's another thing that I have to discuss with my therapist, so thank you so much for that, Jack. But yeah, I haven't said what it's about. It's about a father and his son who have recently moved into this new house because the wife / mum has passed away, and so they're sort of like looking for a new start, and hopefully they're gonna leave the trauma. Why are all these books so traumatic and dark? They're gonna leave the hard times behind and create a new life together, and hopefully everything's gonna go great. It doesn't, it goes Sorry, I'm slowly losing the plot as this video goes on. Weird things start happening. Jake is the son, Tom is the dad. Jake starts acting a little bit strange. Jake makes some friends. Would be great for Jake, except that they are imaginary. Why do children have to be so creepy? And Tom is kind of like, okay, bro. It was slightly cliche. Again, a child who has imaginary friends and acts creepily. We've seen that before like 100 times. There's also a detective who is depressed and haunted by some past case. That's the one I was looking for. Haunted by some past case. And yeah, it was quite cliche. Just wait for the motorbike. You good? It was still an okay read. If that sounds like something that you want, like it's October and you just want something that's creepy, that is very readable, and that just gives you all of those classic thriller vibes where there's some sort of creepy things that are going on, and yeah, you know, creepy children and detectives and all of that, then this probably will really work for you. It was an okay book, but I think it fits well for this video, and I'm sure that there are other people who would really enjoy it and be quite happy to pick this one up. Alright, one more and then I'm gonna wrap this up, but I want to finish off with a goodie, and that is The Baby Is Mine by, I'm gonna absolutely butcher this and I am really sorry, Oyinkan Braithwaite. So this was a very random suggestion that just popped up on my script page, and I hadn't heard anyone talk about it, I hadn't seen it before, I didn't even realise that the author had written other books. I had already read My Sister the Serial Killer by the same author, and then yeah, this one popped up on my page. I proceeded to read the blurb and I was immediately in a headlock. It was totally worth it. It has the same brilliant dark humour that was demonstrated in My Sister the Serial Killer. Braithwaite writes an entertaining novella, it's very, very short, about Bambi, who is a sort of young Don Giovanni who has been thrown out by his girlfriend during a confinement. He now has to seek shelter, so he goes to his late uncle's house. Upon arrival, he discovers two women who both claim to be the mother of his newborn nephew. Bambi is unsure of who to trust, and there is no way for him to find out for sure who is the actual mother, and that is how this story begins. So it's a confinement, they're in this house, all three of them together, they're stuck together. I should say all four of them, I'm just counting the baby as this like object instead of a person. The baby's there as well, it's all three of them plus a newborn. So it has like oppressive sort of energy, it's slightly claustrophobic, and I really loved how it sort of had a Judgment of Solomon kind of vibe going on, if you know what I mean. But that's the sort of plot that we had, with two women disputing their claim to being the child's mother. And I really loved the mind games, I loved the oppressive atmosphere, the way Bambi was constantly believing one woman 1 minute and then the other woman the next minute. Bambi is a smart choice of POV as well, because he frames the women in a way that shows that he has internalized societal beliefs about the roles and intentions of women, and the women in turn offer to try and play into his male assumptions, aiming to play prejudice in their favor and then to discredit their counterpart. That was incredible. Oh my god, Luca, high five. Incredible. I did a great job. I smashed that. I wouldn't say it's a literary masterpiece, but it's certainly a very witty and compulsive read, and it reminded me of like the joy of novellas and how short stories can be just as good as a full-length book. So yeah, I can't wait to see really what the author brings out next, and I just thought it was really good. It's maybe, again, not the sort of like adrenaline pumping kind of book that you might be craving. Yeah, I don't know if saying that this video is a thriller recommendation video, I don't think that's correct. I don't know, I think that's a bit bold of me to assume that I can say that. Anyway, that's it. That sort of concludes our video. I could blabber on for ages. I could recommend so many other books. I have a long list, but I had to end it at some point, and honestly I'm just astonished that my battery has lasted this long and I've actually been able to film a video from beginning to end without there being any issues. I say that again, touch wood, but 100% there's probably going to be an issue once I try to edit it or export it. There's going to be some sort of issue. I'm full on expecting it, but in the meantime we are going to bathe in the glory of this victory. Thank you so much if you've watched this entire video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a recommendation or an idea for your next read. And again, hello to anyone who is new. It has been so gratifying seeing new people sort of be interested in the videos, and it's been so nice as well to see people commenting. It genuinely really does make my day, because I really enjoy making these videos. I've been having lots of fun with it, and it's great because I get to also talk about books when I do a video like in this kind of style. So I've been really loving it, but it's just even nicer to see people also enjoying something that I have put so much hard work into, because these aren't easy, you know, like editing and exporting is honestly a pain. So yeah, to see that other people are also enjoying them, it just is so nice. That's it. I've rambled on for long enough. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you soon, hopefully with some more autumn content. All right, cool. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Fred. I'm insane. I'm unhinged. Someone take my mugs away from me. I have a problem. I'll note it down so that I can talk about it with my therapist. Bye! Just want you to fully take in my display before I put it away.